My name is Braden Williams. I'm 16 years old. I'm going to write what's the goal? I don't even know what the goal for the amount of pages is, but a paper that could be small, it could be large, depending on what I find, on if people will be extinct by the year 2100. So, the reason I'm writing this paper is because I've had this feeling for a long time. Long time for how long I have lived. That we're gonna not be able to produce the proper amount of crops, agriculture, to sustain life, for us at least. Because by the year 2036, I think, 2037, we're going to hit 9 billion people. Mind you, according to the basic estimation, we're only at 8.05 or 8.5. No, 8.05 for sure, right? Billion people. That means, and then by 2050, we are going to be at 10 billion lives. People that need 3,000 calories, so many vitamins, and then adding to the fact that you have rich countries like the US, which is where I live, who eat way more than we need, or Britain, which again eats more than they need, but then you also have poorer countries that eat less because of food prices. Why have food prices been increasing recently? Is it because of inflation? Or is it because we need to increase it to weed out people who can't afford it? That way, there's less. So maybe we won't go extinct. But how many people will have to die for people to live if at this rate of our growth? The basic plan for the study is not study. Let me not call it that. The basic plan for the paper I'm writing is for the next year, I will devote 3 hours a day to research, 15 minutes to a voice memo. Maybe less some days. Of course, I can't be that consistent. I am only human, which that is another thing I will take into account, the imperfections of people. And then an hour of meditation before the research. That way I can go in with a clear head. That is 1,065, I believe, right? 3 times 365. Something like that, right? A year. So that's 1,065 hours a year of research. Which I know that's not a lot, but I think it's plenty if I work at a good enough pace. I will preferably post a YouTube video similar to this one, but with a link to a doc of weekly research. Sometimes it'll be small, sometimes it'll be big, sometimes it'll just be kind of mid. At the end of every month, we will compile out all the findings and see where it leads. Today is March 30th, 2025. So on the 30th, March has 31 days. That's correct. I was right. There we go. Happy with that. So we will be starting that on March 31st. And then at the end of April, we will compile all the research we have found to one somewhat big paper. And hopefully I'm wrong. If I am wrong, I will delete every video. I don't care about money like that. I really don't. I will delete every video, and yeah. Because, then I'm wrong. But if I even think there's still the slightest chance that I'm right, that by 2100 we'll be near extinction, if not dead, then I feel like people would want to know that, That's it's a big thing. That's huge, you know? I think we'll do either a weekly video, pretty much just voice memos, edited down to a short 35 minute video of 15 or less minutes a day of recording. And if whoever listens, listens. And if no one listens, no one listens. It's not about that. It's about recording myself. That way I know what I'm thinking. If anything gets corrupted, that sucks. I hope that I'm wrong. Not just because, it would mean the death of a lot of people, but because, we could amount to so much more than struggling and fighting and this and that. And I get people from the US aren't going to see it like that. So I feel like that's going to be a major audience of this, but that's okay. But if you look in certain countries that are less fortunate than the UK or the US, or what other great countries are there that people live great lives? Japan, China. We're not going to look at the politics in any of these places. Just the statistics, the facts, everything. We will spend the first month looking at just the US. The second, we'll move to the UK. We'll see who they import their foods from. Import their foods from. If they grow their own food. And if we will have enough. I hope I'm wrong. I do. But there's that chance that I'm not. I think that's what kills me, is that what if I'm not wrong? What if this hunch that I have, that's what all it is right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's all it is right now. I've done 26 hours of research so far. And so far it seems right. Probably closer to 23 hours, actually, now that I think about it, because I slept in my chair. Yeah. Another thing we're going to be looking at is energy production and energy use in every country. Looking at solar as an option, looking at nuclear as an option. And yeah, we're going to also include the exponential growth of people. As in, by 2050, we're hitting 10 billion. That's the base estimation. Whenever I was a kid, a kid, you know what I mean? Whenever I was born, specifically, we were at 7.5 billion, somewhere around there? Something like that, right? We're now up to 8 billion people. And by 2036, we're going to be at 9 billion people. That is another billion. You know how much? Okay, we'll put that into dollars. US dollars, that is. That's a lot. That's a lot. 20, 50, 10 billion. And even faster than that, 11 billion. Will we be able to sustain? Yeah, no, I don't know. I'll do another 3 hours of research tomorrow. I'll actually start writing it down on physical paper and whatever seems relevant onto a document. And anything that is super relevant, I'll apply into the YouTube video. And then if you want to read the whole thing, I'll put a link. Not getting sponsored. I don't want money from this. I don't want to get verified. I don't want millions of views. I want to be wrong. I want someone to say, this, and this will show that you're wrong. And then I'll look into those things, and then I'll see. If that doesn't scare you, that your children or your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren, maybe, I don't know, however old you are, will be struggling to eat, maybe even struggling to breathe, because that's another thing that I want to look into. I want to look into oxygen production, which is, I believe, mainly from algae. I want to look into that too. And then what about energy? What are we going to do if we're limited on that too? Which we're not yet. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. But again, I very well could be. And I think that's what I'm basing this whole thing off of. That hope. That by... And this is... I'm not going to look into 2200 or 2300. I'm going to look into 2100. Maybe a little farther into the future than that. But that's... What? 3 other... No, that's a lot more than 2. Jesus Christ, that'll be... Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't really remember how that works, actually, now that I think about it. But that'll be a lot of people that are being born in that time that are new to the world. And I don't want them to be in a world where they live till 30 because they starved to death. Or they live till 30 because they couldn't breathe. Scary, man. We're already limited on time. We live... The most brilliant minds in the world only live till they're tops what was the oldest person, like 120, something like that. That's pushing it. That is pushing the limits of the human capability. So I could even see the extinction of the world, and I don't want that. I want to see us thrive. I want to see a peaceful world where we're not worried about food or energy or oxygen or dying of the heat, because why was it 80 degrees today and then it almost snowed? It was cold enough to snow. It was 80 degrees during the day and it was cold enough to snow at night. It did snow, actually. What, like 50, 60 miles away from here, there was a bit of snow, and it was 80 degrees here today. And it was 80 degrees there. I think it was 75, 77 there. I'm proving myself wrong. That's what this is for. 1,000+ hours of research spanning over the course of a year, which really isn't a lot, but I still need to make sure that I maintain good grades. I need to make sure that I maintain some form of a life. So yeah, we will post this first video, and next week we'll post a second based on what I found. Same with the week after that, and then at the end of the month we will have a probably relatively short research paper on this. And if I'm wrong, I delete everything. I delete the 4 videos I would have posted, delete the doc. But if I still think there's that slight chance that I missed something, then we keep going. If you think I'm wrong in any way, if anyone thinks I'm wrong in any way, tell me. That's it, man.